What's up, everyone? We are back at South by Southwest at the Cinema Center. Welcome to the Collider Media Studio. I get to talk with the team behind Fantasy Life. You guys are kicking off my festival this year, and I'm so excited about it because job exceptionally well done in many respects, but we are celebrating a first feature today, which is a
not
huge
all
deal.
respects.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I'm still learning.
I got a lengthy list of things to get to. I can assure you every layer of this production is really something else. You should be very proud. Clearly, I know what your movie is, but because we're celebrating it as a festival debut, our audience will likely first learn about it here. So would you mind doing the honors and giving a brief synopsis?
I'll try. It is like a modern romantic comedy about a young law school dropout who has some mental health issues, played by me. A middle-aged actress, played by Amanda Peet, and her husband, who is sort of a, douchey rock bassist, but also extremely lovable.
That's your opinion. That's like your opinion, man.
Stick to your own character.
I guess that you can have your opinion of that when you see the film. And yeah, it's about, their relationship and kind of what it's like to meet someone who makes you feel less alone.
Beautiful description right there. So I have many questions about this being your first feature. My first one will be a big two-parter. Why particularly this story? Why did you want to share it with the world? And also, why did you think this story best suited the directing skill set you already had?
I wrote this script kind of during a lull in my acting career. I was kind of between two seasons of a TV show, and I didn't know if it was coming back, and I just kind of needed to throw myself into something. And, one of the themes in the film is what it's like to kind of languish as an actor and an artist. And I just found a lot of energy in that, just kvetching about it. And I think it ultimately suited me because it sort of opened up this world that, surrounds me in my life, with my Jewish family and my mental health issues, and just sort of suddenly kind of found this dimension and these characters that I really started to care about.
So you're a very experienced actor. You've been on a bunch of sets. What is something about what it takes to direct a feature film that surprised even you with all your experience?
The directors that I've loved working with most are gentle, and they, give...
You don't like the screamers?
No. You do?
No.
No, okay. And they give actors space to kind of create something personal, and then they kind of collaborate and tune in. And I've had a lot of different experiences, some really bad, and I just knew that was sort of a central piece of what I wanted to bring to this. And I was, pleasantly surprised that the actors I was working with responded to that and, seemed to be having fun.
I'm going to come back to you directing in a moment, but there's another first experienced on this movie. Amanda, I believe this is your first time producing a feature film. You EP'd and showran The Chair, right?
I did.
Yeah. Is there anything about your experience doing that maybe contributed to, your skill set as a producer here and how you could best see his vision through to fruition?
I think just I try to treat it, even if I'm not producing, like a kind of you're part of a company, you try to work with really smart people and get their notes and their takes on things. And it was a very collaborative atmosphere. And I like to, when I ran my show, I tried to have that kind of openness, and Matt has that too. And I've known Sandro for a long time, and I feel like we all kind of like to work that way, work with friends, work with people who are really smart and, don't waste time and make really smart contributions either to the script or how to get shots faster. Or all of us are used to working with, baby budgets, and sadly, for better or worse. So yeah.
Oh, I like that approach quite a bit, and it pays off big time in this movie. So back to this being Matthew's feature directorial debut. For the two of you now, I'll split this up into two parts. First, going into it, what was something about him when maybe you first met that signaled to you, I am going to be in good hands with him?
I got a call from Noah Baumbach, who had worked with Matt on a few films and had read the script, and he said, do this movie. And that was a pretty good endorsement for Matt, and he really loved Matt and believed in him. And so, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, it was just the writing. You know, I feel like you can tell, you know, within a couple of pages. And I just felt like, you know, the script talks about some heavy issues, but with a lot of humor. And so my guess was that Matt was going to be, you know, really smart and astute, and that's really what you need as a director.
Okay, so that was going into the production. Now I'm curious about leaving it, because first feature, I have full faith you'll direct many more if that's what you want to do going forward. What is something about him as an actor's director and a leader on this set that you appreciated and would be really excited for even more actors to experience on his future films?
He is gentle, as he said, but also feels like he has a strong vision and a really strong and beautiful visual sense, and a great sense of comedy. And also is this making you uncomfortable? He's the best.
Go on.
Go on.
I mean, in general, I think that I've worked with a few actors turned directors, and it usually works out. And I think it's because they prioritize performance over everything else. And to be a good director requires a whole range of skill sets. You know, there's directing performance, there's framing shots, and there's understanding the rhythms of storytelling, and a million other things. And if you don't have them all, chances are you won't make a good film. But sometimes directors who don't have experience with performance skip that step and start with imagining the scene visually before understanding you know, how it's going to play out emotionally and organically, as opposed to starting that way and then building the shots around that once you've kind of found the scene with the other actors. And so the actors turned directors that I've worked with have all kind of just innately and instinctively started from that point of view, and Matt was no exception, and it really makes a big difference.
And I think it takes a certain amount of confidence and definitely a sense of relaxation to be able to kind of pivot and improvise based on how your actors find the scene that morning, and sort of the skill of being able to compartmentalize. So you could have a producer yelling in your ear being like, we got to shoot, and it takes a lot of balls to be like, wait a minute, I need to take my time with this, or whatever the case may be.
Ooh.
You know, pivoting. And
I need to follow up on pivoting, which is a big part of making an indie film. But first, I just wanted to tackle the story in a broader sense, because there was something you said in your director's statement that I wrote down because it's key to the movie. You said a goal with the film was to challenge the mental health narratives that always get on my nerves. Can you maybe run us through certain things that get on your nerves and how you wanted to change that with your own movie?
You know, I often, you know, think to myself when I'm watching a movie or TV show that's dealing with mental health, like, you know, that I just wish there was more kind of specificity to it and a little more kind of dimension, like that there is humor and, you know, there is pain, but, you know, it's just not one dimensional, you know, and And I also find it very frustrating when, like, you know, I hope this isn't too revealing, but like medication is just glossed over. Like, these medications have names, you know? And and I just feel like that's such a like important detail, you know? Like, I just feel like that's, to me, that was like a discovery when I was writing it. I was like, oh, I can actually talk about this.
Very well done in that respect. One thing in that zone I wanted to pose to all of you, because I love the scene where he shares Battlestar Galactica with her. Because I feel like we all have that kind of movie or show that, I don't know, just helped us through a tough time. So did each of you have that in your life? Like a movie or show you turn to when you need a little boost?
New Adventures of Old Christine. I mean, anything really with Julia Louis-Dreyfus is a mood enhancer.
Raging Bull.
Over and over and over again.
Yeah, just the scene where he bangs his head against the wall in the prison. Makes me feel everything's gonna be all right.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Battlestar. Like,
feeling.
yeah. I've watched it through like 3 times. The first time was just like in the scene, just sort of this incredible, detailed world that, you know, I just sort of fell in love with. You know, and it's a sci-fi world, which is not exactly my taste. So it was
Battlestar,
special.
Isn't there a scene in Portlandia where
Yes.
they watch that
Yes,
and
yes.
they can't stop watching it?
Yeah,
and
that's
they,
what
like,
it's-
they're supposed to be going to a party or whatever.
Right.
And like they're like, let's just watch one more episode
Yeah.
or whatever. And then the party like happens and comes and goes, and they're like, oh well, we missed that. And then they're like, should we just watch one more? And then they
Yes,
keep, and then
yes.
it's like weeks go by.
Yeah. Your life goes by as you watch Battlestar. And then later I watched it through. I convinced my wife to watch it with me. And she
What did
she loved it. Like, it was
Okay,
like
I
it
gotta
took
get into
some, you know, convincing.
This is like Paddington 2. Like, I haven't seen this movie either, but like people just keep like crying when they talk about it or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
What's the story here? what am I missing?
Okay. There are these cyborgs that annihilate humanity, except for a small fleet of spaceships.
The show definitely has a real special spot. Like, I think everybody has that kind of movie or show in their life, but in particular, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people out there said Battlestar.
It's like a, you know, real sort of like expression of that golden age of television, you know, when like Sopranos and, you know, The Wire, it was just like one of those, you know, like
It was?
blasts of amazing writing and acting.
Trust him. Trust him on this,
All right.
I'm telling you. I have to wind down with you soon. Amanda, I wanted to make sure to hit this one scene, and I don't want to spoil the details of the scene, but the one you share with Holland Taylor towards the tail end of the film might be one of my absolute favorite performance beats of this entire festival. You have
so
other
much.
emotional scenes in the movie, but that one's just like on another level in that respect. So I guess how does
you
your
so
prep process change for a moment like that when you have to tap into that emotion and essentially express points that reflect the entire weight of her journey in this movie?
I feel like Matthew wrote the dialogue was so moving to me from the beginning and was strangely very personal to me. And then, you know, I know Holland personally. And so for whatever reason, she was in my show that I did, and I admire her so much and also have such affection for her. And so there's just something about her face and being with her that was very emotional for me. To get a chance to act with her, you know, was sort of like dovetailing with how moved I was by the writing. So it was kind of a twofer.
So good. I hope my enthusiasm for your work in that moment is coming across.
So much. Thank you.
I have one more question for you, and it's unrelated because we always like to highlight some future projects. And the one that I was looking at for you was your Friends and Neighbors, because it's the coolest thing in the world when we haven't even seen season 1 of a show, but it already gets a renewal for season 2. So I was wondering if maybe you could tell us, like, what is so special about that show, and what do you think it is that gave Apple the confidence to go 2 rounds?
I mean, John Hamm, there's a lot of sex, and John Hamm is having a lot of it. And, but I really don't know. I mean, I don't know because I haven't seen it, but it was certainly really fun, and Jonathan Tropper's amazing. And so, but it's a really fun concept. Like he's a hedge fund guy who loses everything and then is robbing all of his rich neighbors in secret. And so it's pretty exciting.
I think that was a rock solid pitch right there. I'm excited to see that. I'm very excited for the South by audience to see your movie. Again, huge congratulations. First feature. You should be so proud. Have fun celebrating it tonight.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.